What up, it's your girl Najee. Everybody hates K, but everything golden. And you're listening to T7M Radio with my man's Mr. Irrelevant. Yeah.
The 49ers versus Buffalo. Who you got? Sammy Watkins is still out. Of course, he's on injured reserve. In my opinion, I think Rex still got enough pieces to win this game, even with Kaepernick. I think Buffalo will be able to win this at home. I got the Bills over the 49ers. Who you going with?
Yeah, I have Buffalo. They won 3 straight. And to me, it's just a setup. Because Buffalo's a hot team. Their defense is aggressive. They one of the best teams at hitting the quarterback. And you bring Kaepernick to play this hot team, so he can fall flat on his face. And then they can cut him and don't have to worry about no money. That's the thing. Kaepernick can have one bad game. He can play a bad game Sunday, and he get cut. And who knows where Kaepernick will be at for his NFL career.
And the 49ers will not lose money because they only paying them but so much for this restructured deal, for the 1 year. I mean, you're absolutely right. Like, this thing is not over as far as the contract is concerned. If he does not play up to par, he could find himself out the door before the season is over with. I don't know if they would make that move because Blaine Gabbert, 5 touchdowns, 6 interceptions over the first 5 games. He does not seem to be the answer in San Francisco. So, I'm glad Cap is getting his shot, but this is just foul play on the 49ers, man. And I hope somebody of stature really call him out on it because, to me, this is just ridiculous. And to speak on Chip Kelly, your thoughts on Chip Kelly being racist, I'm not going to say he's not. I'm not going to say he is. I will say that he has a biasness, and the biasness could be race-driven, So, but I don't think Chip Kelly I don't think he is, he's not the person to be responsible or held responsible with this move with Kaepernick's restructuring of his deal. You know what I mean? To me, this is straight front office management of the 49ers organization. Like I mentioned, the Harbaugh move. You mentioned Frank Gore and who else was it? Crabtree?
Yeah, Crabtree.
The year after they went to the Super Bowl. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just been terrible. I got
look at it
Buffalo
this way. The 49ers have made some shaky moves in recent years. And Chip Kelly has made some shaky moves in recent years. So it's like they the perfect marriage for each other. So maybe we should just read between the lines and say they just who they are.
This is the Best of 7 Sports Talk, T7M Radio. Callers, y'all call up 347-989-8102. We talking NFL Week 6. Denver Broncos coming off of their first loss of the season, J.O. They're going to go to San Diego, AFC West division game, facing the Chargers. Who you got?
Broncos and Chargers. I'm going to go with the Broncos. The Chargers just have too many, far too many injuries. Starting cornerback and starting receiver, Manti Te'o, Woodhead out for the season. It's just too much to overcome. And Denver coming off their first loss. I'm not sure if the starting quarterback is coming back, but either or, I think they have enough guns to take out the Chargers.
I'm going to have to go with the Chargers. Phillip Rivers, 11 touchdowns on the season. Now, we talked that early on in the year. I remember you had spoke on Melvin Gordon not really being productive last year. I mean, he already had 6 touchdowns on the season. Like, he started off the season with 2 touchdowns the first game. Questionable quarterback play, of course, with Denver. I'm not going to say that, it's over for Denver. They got a good start, but I do think they're going to wind up losing 2 in a row because of the quarterback play. I think Phillip Rivers is going to put up some big numbers. And in the shootout, I just don't see either quarterback being able to, go blow for blow with Phillip Rivers. Denver's defense is still, Denver's defense, but they did get a little bit exposed last week. So I'm going with San Diego over the Broncos. NFC East action, we got the Washington Redskins versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Philly coming off of their first loss as well. I'm not surprised, J.O., that after the bye, the Eagles lost momentum. I do think their defense is serious, but I'm not surprised that they lost momentum, especially with Carson Wentz coming off of the bye week. But he did look good in the comeback attempt last week. But, I'm just not surprised that it was a little bit, that momentum kind of went away. But I do feel like they can go into Washington this week. The Washington Redskins, they edged over my Ravens. Shout out to them. But I do think Philly with that defense can go into D.C. And put some pressure on Kirk Cousins. And I got the Eagles winning over Washington. Who you got?
Yeah, I have the Eagles as well. I love their defense from all three levels, led by Fletcher Cox, and Carson Wentz is continuing to impress me. You said he almost made a comeback, but he threw his first interception on his last pass attempt. But I'm going with Philadelphia. I'm still not all the way there with Kirk Cousins, but they coming off a 2-game. One has won 2 games as well, so it's gonna be a tough game. But I'm gonna ride out with the Eagles.
Now your Green Bay Packers, led with Aaron Rodgers, they facing that talked about, that guy right now, Dak Prescott, and the Dallas Cowboys going into Lambeau Field to face your Green Bay Packers. Who you got?
I have my Packers winning this. I think our home crowd is going to be pumped up for this match. And, Rodgers hasn't been as sharp as he's been in recent years, but I like our chances against the Cowboys at home, just off the crowd energy alone. I think we'll get ahead of them early on, and I think we'll hold on to the end.
The crowd energy is going to be for Dak Prescott. They're not coming out to see Aaron Rodgers and company this Sunday. Unfortunately, I hate to break the bad news to you, but everybody wants to see Dak perform. I told you that the showcase started a couple weeks ago. Dak is about to go on a run. I'm not going to say he's not going to lose a game before Romo comes back, but I think he's definitely going to get this game in Green Bay. I think the defense, I think every piece, every element of Dallas being on the road, going into Green Bay, knowing that if Dak Prescott and company don't play well this week, they go into a bye next week, and then I think they got the Eagles in 2 weeks. That people are saying, or Jerry Jones is kind of going at Tony Romo possibly returning then. So Dak Prescott needs to win this game, needs to have a good game. And I know it's on the road against Aaron Rodgers, who's coming off of a good game himself. But I'm going with Dallas, man, over your Green Bay Packers in an upset.
We have Cleveland and
Tennessee.
Tennessee. I have Cleveland Browns getting their first victory. They've been in some close competitive games. Tennessee is a terrible team. Browns is a terrible team, but I think the Browns have a little more toughness and more grit to them than Tennessee. I'm going with the Browns.
I think Terrell Pryor's going to have a breakout game. Cleveland will get their first win of the season in Tennessee over the Titans. My Baltimore Ravens hosting OBJ, Eli Manning, and New York Giants. We coming off of that tough game, man, a battle of the Beltway loss. I'm so disappointed that my team couldn't pull it off. This is actually, the beginning of the season. Remember, J.O., this is my Super Bowl game right here, the Ravens and the Giants. I predicted that these two was going to go at it in Super Bowl 51. Now, the Giants is playing terrible, so, that's not really looking good for me, but it's early. I'm definitely going with my Ravens to bounce back after last week. We got rid of the offensive coordinator, Mark Trestman, the day after. Every time we lose to the Redskins, we get rid of the offensive coordinator the next day. It's like the third time that's happened. So I think Flacco's going to get an opportunity to put that ball in the air a little bit more, J.O. And, you got some respect for Flacco, but I don't think we have enough. And I think it's going to start this Sunday against the Giants. Odell Beckham, again, I'm not convinced. But, I think he will. I do think that if Eli plays well, Beckham could have a decent game against our defensive back. Our secondary has never been that great. But, I got the Ravens putting a lot of pressure, that front seven on Eli Manning, for him not to even be able to have time to throw the ball out there to Beckham, to Victor Cruz, or whoever. So I got my Ravens over the Giants. Who you got?
I have the Giants beating your Ravens. I do respect Flacco, but I believe now that I'm not sure how severe Steve Smith's ankle is, but him not being healthy can be a blow. And
right.
Yeah, Eli's been terrible, man. There's no way to put it. And I'm happy more people looking at Eli play more so than Odell, because that's completely fair. But I think Giants, I think they do for a solid game this week. I'm going.
Now, what about my guy Terrence West, the young running back for the Ravens in the backfield? Over 300 yards already on the season, taking 4 set plays. I mean, even if Steve Smith is a no-go, you don't think that the Ravens can run the ball and be productive against the Giants defense?
Yeah, they could be. A Giants front seven is not.
It's not like what it used to be.
Not that great. Right. Yeah, not that great. And Terrence West, he's been talented. I remember he played for the Browns. He was real good. He just, had a few guys in front of him. But yeah, I mean that. If they win, it would be off the strength of that.
One of the most disappointing stories so far this season, the Carolina Panthers. They going into New Orleans to face Drew Brees, another disappointing story. And the New Orleans Saints, 1-4 Panthers going against the 1-3 Saints. Who you got in New Orleans?
I have the Saints, man. It look like it's just a down year for the Panthers, man. It just everything is falling apart with the chemistry. But I'm going with the Saints. I think they have enough offense, that can put up high numbers against the Panthers' rookie and inexperienced secondary. And I think that's going to be the difference. I just don't. This Panthers secondary could be the worst in the league. So you're going against Breeze, you are in danger of giving up 350 plus. So I'm taking this.
Drew Brees going to have to beat him because Mark Ingram is not going to be able to do it. But at home, Drew Brees put up major numbers. Already he has over 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns for the season. So I agree. I have to go with the Saints. If Cam is a no-go, I'm definitely going with the Saints over the Panthers. This is crazy. The Panthers are looking at going 1-5 coming off of a Super Bowl appearance. That's wow. This is the Best of 7 Sports Talk, T7M Radio. When we come back, man, we're going to continue our predictions in the NFL Week 6. We're going to talk Tom Brady versus the Cincinnati Bengals. We're going to talk about his comeback performance last week and much, much more on the Best of 7 Sports Talk, T7M Radio with 7 Mitchell and J.O. Don't go nowhere.
Yo, Carl, nice gear. Foot Locker?
No doubt.
So any advice now that I've been drafted?
Getting drafted doesn't mean a thing. Now the real work starts. This isn't college. This is a grown man's league. Tell him, Devin.
That's right. Nothing comes easy anymore. Anything else I should know, D'Angelo?
Got a phone? Trust me.
What up, it's your girl Najee. Everybody hates K, but everything golden. And you're listening to T7M Radio with my man's Mr. Irrelevant. Yeah.
This is the Best of 7 Sports Talk, T7M Radio. Callers, y'all call up 347-989-8102. We talking NFL action, Week 6 predictions. Tom Brady, J.O. Last week I made the most disrespectful prediction so far this season. I predicted the Cleveland Browns to beat Tom Brady in his return. He was on point last week, man. There was no denying that. He started that first half off real hot, over 200-something yards in the first half. New England won convincingly. They are going to be locked in with the Cincinnati Bengals, who's struggling pretty much this season. This is in Foxborough. Who you got?
I got to go with New England, man. It's just, Tom Brady just, I guess, I don't know if I say he surprised me, just the same old Brady. I mean, you give him all the time in the world, and the offensive line is playing very well. It don't matter who the quarterback is. So with Tom Brady getting that time to survey the field and find Gronk, it's just very fearful. So I got to take Mr. Bunchen to win this game.
Nothing makes my week go by on the podcast. I enjoy myself week by week when you're forced to go against your Super Bowl pick. That's so disrespectful. Super Bowl pick of the Cincinnati Bengals that you picked at the beginning of the year. I tried to warn you. But week by week by week, you are forced to go against your team. And we already in week 6, you're still going against them. So it's a good look. They haven't even seen my Ravens twice. They still got the Steelers, the Browns, of course. So this is a good look, man. And I definitely agree with you. I definitely feel like Tom Brady is on his shit. And, there's not a whole lot to say. He will be carving up that Bengals defense. A.J. Green might have a good game, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. I got New England over the Cincinnati Bengals. AFC West matchup, we got the Oakland Raiders versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Who you going with, J.O.?
We got the Raiders and who?
And the Kansas City Chiefs. AFC West matchup.
Man, I got to go with the Raiders, man. It's one of the hotter teams in the league right now with one of the hotter quarterbacks in the league. I don't know, man. Chiefs if they don't get Jamal Charles going, their season pretty much going to be doomed. And I don't know when he's going to be ready to take 20 carries and get going, but I got to go with the hot team. I'm going with the Raiders.
The Oakland Raiders 4-1 was my AFC West prediction winners at the start of the season. Facing the defending champs, the Kansas City Chiefs, this is just a prime platform for my debate or my argument to be kind of solidified and stamped. Oakland is for real, man. I'm telling you, and they're still young. Their defense still got some improvement to make. But Derek Carr, 11 touchdowns on the season. You got Amari Cooper playing great, and Crabtree a couple weeks ago, he had 3 touchdowns against my Ravens. Oakland is for real, man, in that West. And they're going to give Denver some trouble in the second half of the season. So I agree. I'm going with the Oakland Raiders over the Kansas City Chiefs as well. The Jacksonville Jaguars visiting the Chicago Bears. I'm going with the Bears. Who you got? No, I'm sorry. I'm actually going with Jacksonville. That offense is not elite, but Bortles put that ball up, and I definitely feel in the wide receivers with Hearns and Robinson. I've been liking them ever since last season. So I'm going with Jacksonville to go into Chicago and beat the Bears.
I have Chicago taking this. I like the way Brian Hoyer is looking. And Jaguars, although I love them, I love the young talent, man. They just seem to be just a little still too inexperienced to have a chain of wins. So I'm going to go with the Bears.
We got the LA Rams versus the Detroit Lions. Matt Stafford and company. Who's that?
I have the Lions. I think the Rams finally got, they not looking as good as they was at the beginning of the season, the last few games. Detroit, I just trust Matthew Stafford on and the receiver Jones that they'll get behind Rams defense, and I have the Lions taking this one as well.
I want to feel sorry for Matt Stafford. I mean, losing Calvin Johnson, man, that was your only really weapon, and he was a big weapon. And Matt Stafford is getting, skill set wise, he's getting better. Like, he wasn't at his prime. Like, it's just unfortunate that a guy can potentially be a really good quarterback in the NFL, and he really can't display it because we really don't have no weapons like that. So I do think that they will be able to beat the Rams at home in Detroit. But, I just think it's disappointing that they have not been able to put some pieces around Matt Stafford outside of, what they had in Calvin Johnson. Big Ben Pittsburgh Steelers going into Miami to face the Dolphins. I'm going with the Steelers, unfortunately. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm going with the Steelers, man. It's too much offensive power.
One of the hottest teams, if not the hottest team, that you probably would have to agree with me, J.O., the Atlanta Falcons. They're going into Seattle to face the Seahawks. This is going to be a tough back-and-forth matchup. Who you got?
Oh, man, that's going to be tough. Man.
Yeah, man. Atlanta might be the best. Atlanta's team will be the hottest team, the most talked about team, or the biggest.
Yeah, but I'm going to go with Seattle. You know, the best quarterback claim start the season, Russell Wilson. It's going to be interesting to see the Julio Jones versus Sherman matchup.
Yeah, if it's a secondary package out there that can contain Julio Jones, it would definitely have to be Seattle's defensive back, physical play, getting in his face. That's the best chance that they do have. But if they're able to take that element out, I do see Matt Ryan trying to force the ball. They will put some pressure on him. I don't, the quarterback play for Seattle is questionable. I don't know what's up with your guy, Russell Wilson. But, this is a home game for Seattle. They rarely lose at home. So I got the Seahawks. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be probably a field goal type of game as far as the difference at the end. But I'm going with Seattle over the Falcons in a battle. We got the Colts versus the Texans in the AFC matchup. Andrew Luck versus Brock Osweiler. Who you got in that shootout?
I have the Colts winning. Luck hasn't been getting a lot of wins on the board, but last few weeks I sort of have liked his play. He seems to be getting in the rhythm more so than now that the season is going on. I'm gonna take the Colts. Osweiler, he's been struggling probably since week 2, and he hasn't earned his money he got this off season. So I don't know. I'm gonna take the Colts taking this one.
Well, I'm gonna have to disagree. I think Texas have a little bit more weapons, of course, than Indianapolis. Andrew Luck is out there putting it all out there. If they have a 8-8 season, in my opinion, or a winning record season, he maybe not should win the MVP, but his name definitely should be out there because he's doing it all damn near by himself out there. Their defense is nowhere. They don't have a running game. T.Y. Hilton is good, but the line is suspect. The offensive line is suspect for the Colts. So Andrew Luck, man, he's doing a lot with a little bit. But I do think Brock and company at home will be able to beat the Colts. So I'm going with the Texans over the Colts. Monday Night Football, we got the Arizona Cardinals hosting the New York Jets. I'm going with the Jets at an upset on the road on Monday night. Bright lights. Carson Palmer and company, man, they just don't look to be that team that we saw last year. I'm going with the Jets over the Cardinals.
I'm going with the Cardinals. I think they're going to go down the field with the Jets with Reeves still question marks that he's going to play. And even if he do play, he's not going to be healthy enough to run with Arizona Cardinals receivers. And I also like for Peterson to shut down Brandon Marshall. So, and we all know Fitzpatrick, he just don't take care of the ball at all. So I have the Rams taking this one in a great battle.
You got the Cardinals over the Jets?
Yeah, the Cardinals. I'm sorry, the Cardinals.
Cardinals over the Jets. Yeah, I like Jets defense. I think on the road, Monday night, prime time, nothing to lose. I like that. I like that game for the New York Jets. So it'll be an interesting one. We'll see. What's your thoughts on Geno Smith, man? Where do you see him? Do you see us possibly seeing him before this year's out?
Well, I always thought he was a better quarterback than Fitzpatrick, although Fitzpatrick had some success. But if I can recall, I think Geno played a game or two last year and looked good as well. And he would have been the starter last year if he didn't get his bra joking by a former player. So I was expecting big things from Geno last year. So I think, in my opinion, I think he's a better quarterback than Fitzpatrick. And if Fitzpatrick have another bad outing this week, I think they really have to consider making another call, bring brother in.
Is Geno that guy that could turn it around and get, if they lose again, if that is the case, more than likely the Jets' season could kind of be over early. But do you think Geno is that guy that could possibly have that Tim Tebow effect, that, to come back from a season like they have in with the Jets and possibly take them to the postseason this season?
I think he can. This Jets team have a better roster than Geno had when he first came in the league. I mean, if you recall, Geno Smith was going 8-8 with bad team, bad players on the team.
Subpar talent, right?
8-8. Everybody was saying Geno was so terrible, but he got a team to 8-8. So,
but what do you think about the locker room? I mean, do you after the incident that happened with Geno early on, what do you think that locker room? You think they, do you think they respect him? That's a big thing too.
Yeah, it's been over a year removed, so, and he seemed to have learned and matured from it. Of course, he was a little cocky before then, but he never had the opportunity to throw the ball to Brandon Marshall, which will help any quarterback out. So I just think big play wise, I think he's more of a big play quarterback than Fitzpatrick. So now we see Fitzpatrick he's turnover prone. So who to say that Geno wouldn't protect the ball better than Fitzpatrick?
Right. We're going to have to see how this one play out. But that's Monday night, the Jets at Arizona to face Carson Palmer, Larry Fitzgerald, and the Arizona Cardinals.